Good evening and welcome to the Ombudsman program. My name is Diane Welborn. I'm the Ombudsman and I am going to be your host for this evening's program. Thanks to the viewers for joining us tonight. And this, as our shows always are, is a call-in program. And so the staff at DATV will be putting the telephone number on so you can call in with your questions about our program this evening. Tonight, I am very pleased to have with me Mr. Keesan Lasley, who is the director of HelpLink 211 at the United Way. Welcome to the program, Keesan.
Thanks for having me, Diane.
Yes, it's my pleasure. So 211 is a number that people can just simply call to get to an information base that's staffed by human beings, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, why don't you give us a little introduction about yourself at the United Way, and then a little bit more introduction about 211 both locally and across our country.
Okay, be glad to do that. So my name is Keesan Lasley. I'm the director of HelpLink 211. As Diane said, I am former retired Army, U.S. Army. Retired after 28 years of service in July of 2018, and currently in Huber Heights, born and raised in Dayton, Ohio. I have 6 children, a lovely wife. Got in this position in September of 2021. Prior to that, I was a VetLink specialist, basically working directly with veterans to help them get their needs met in the community. And then prior to that, I was on a 6-month hiatus enjoying my retirement. And then I got back in the fight, so.
I see. So you could be retired for a while, but pretty soon you had to get back, get back to work. Well, later in the program, we'll ask you to inform our viewers about VetLink as well, because that's a very important function to link our veterans with services that they might need. But let's circle back to talk about 211 and both locally and nationally. Tell the viewers all about what 211 is.
No problem. So it started in 1997 in Atlanta. 211 now serves close to 95% of the U.S. population. We have more than 200 different agencies, including United Ways, that provide 211 services. Last year, the total 211 network in the U.S. answered close to 15 million requests for assistance through phone, text, and web chat. Our 211 is called HelpLink 211, and it's operated by a nonprofit, United Way of Greater Dayton area. We provide information and referrals to callers that may have needs from electric to utilities to rent to food. Ombudsman, we get referrals for help with Ombudsman, Dayton Mediation Center, the list goes on and on, transportation assistance, things like that. So basically we connect them with resources that are in the community that they may be eligible for. We are open 24/7, 365, all holidays, and we provide coverage on the phone. So we know the pulse of the community. We know what's going on. We can see those emerging trends before they even happen based on the calls that we get. So we're a great asset in the community, and we love being here to help the people in the community.
That's wonderful. And so do you, your calls are always answered by live people. So somebody's got to be working from their home throughout the holidays and throughout every single evening as well, right?
Right.
So there's no wrong time to call 211. You're always going to be answering the call.
Absolutely.
Does our 211 also offer text or email for locally?
So right now we do have chat.
Okay.
So you could get on our website, dayton-unitedway.org, and you could seek assistance or request for help, and then you can click on the link, and we have an Autobot at the beginning, and then mainly I'm doing the chat right now, but we'll come in, the chat will come in. It basically asks the same questions that we would normally ask if we had the caller on the line. And then they can leave a help desk ticket. Our hours are from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. But if they come outside of those hours, then they can create a chat ticket. And then that'll come in our inbox the next day. And then if it's on the weekend, obviously we won't be able to get to it to the next business day, but we try to get to them within 24 hours. And then we'll reply, provide them the resources. A lot of times they request to have it emailed to them because they don't want to sit on the phone and go through all of that. So we do have that option to email those resources to them. And then they also sometimes follow up with more questions or more resources.
Right, exactly. I think we're finding a similar thing that more and more people like to use the electronic means, such as sending complaints to us, online, but we still have a larger population, a larger number of inquiries that come in over the phone. People still, all these new technologies are wonderful, but people still really like to reach a person and talk to them as long as they don't have to wait a long time on the phone, I think. So
Right.
Do you find most of your inquiries are still coming in through the telephone?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What is the volume? You mentioned the overwhelming number nationally, but for example, for our viewers, how many call inquiries do you all have, let's say per week or per month, however you keep your stats?
Well, normally in a year, we range from 40 to 50,000 calls a year.
Okay, all right.
Obviously, some of them are repeat callers, right?
Yeah.
But for the most part, we do annual reports, we do semi-annual reports. So that is basically where we range around 50K a year.
Okay.
We did see it kind of go up last year, obviously, because of all the calls for vaccine assistance or, wanting to know how they could get tested and things like that. But for the most part, that is how it works out.
Right. So talk a little bit about this for our viewers, about how how large your database is. And you've mentioned that you have a lot of resources for emergency assistance and perhaps for financial assistance. And we will come back to that a little later in the program because there's so much of that going on now. But you all have lots of additional information in your database, do you not?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we do. So I kind of need to go back. So we serve 9 counties.
Yes.
Our HelpLink 211. Butler, Warren, and Clinton counties to our neighbors to the south. Clark, Champaign, and Madison, our neighbors to the northeast. And then we also serve Montgomery, Greene, and Preble counties. So in our database, we have approximately 1,200 resources based on all of those areas that we provide support to.
Okay, well, that's good. I would imagine it's an ever-changing job to keep up to date with all those resources. So you must have to devote a good amount of time to keeping everything current.
Yes, so we have a database curator. Her name is Carla, and that is like the main part of her job. She also supervises the day shift.
Okay.
So before I got into this position, I was being groomed to assist her with the database curation. So basically, we update annually. So the system will generate an email to that provider, to that agency to say, hey, this is the information we have in our database. Is it current? Did the eligibility requirements change? Things of that nature. And then we also get information from the callers where they may say, hey, I contacted this agency and they said they don't do that anymore. Then that will prompt us to reach out to them to say, hey, we had a few callers say X, Y, and Z. are you still offering this as a service? So it is a tough job. I'm not going to lie, but we are taking steps to improve and continue to keep our database updated so we can continue to support the members of our community.
Okay, very good. Do you keep in your database specific categories for questions regarding things for children?
For children, so we did have a baby link in our southern counties that was just dedicated to maternal need.
Sure.
But we do you could do a search in our database multiple ways. So if you did a search for diapers, right, you will find PDCs. If you did a search for formula, things like that. So you would always be able to, based on the search that you do, you could find those resources. And we also offer those resources online as well. As I was telling you about, where a person could just go on our website and search on their own, and they could see those resources along as get involved in the chat as well.
Well, that's wonderful. Maybe now would be a good time, or maybe for the first time, to give people the website address. If viewers at home are wanting to jot that down in case they want to look up something later in this week.
Okay. All right. So it's www.dayton-unitedway.org. And that'll take you to our main page. And then if you click on need assistance or request assistance, there's a link that will take you to our search option where they could do a search for resources they may need: food pantries, help with rent payment assistance, electric, things of that nature. And resources will come up just as if it would in our database. It's the exact same thing.
Okay. So that's good. That's really a lot of self-service that people can do if they want to. Do you get a lot of calls or a lot of hits on your database from professionals in the community, like case managers or caseworkers, who are looking for resources for the people they're helping?
Absolutely. So I'm glad you brought that up. So we have like a lot of social workers. They may have someone sitting in front of them, and they will try to connect them with resources, right? So we have hospitals that call us requesting assistance. They do searches and they call. We get both. So I've had calls where someone will call, like, let's say from the VA, and they have someone sitting there and they just had surgery, and then they'll say, hey, they need food. When they left and came here for surgery, they didn't hardly have any food. What can we do to get them connected to get some food? So then we would go off of their zip code and we would give them those resources that are close to them, and hopefully they will be able to get there and get the help that they need. But that does happen a lot.
Yes. Well, Keesan, we have a caller, so there's a question to the viewers that has appeared in our chat. Because since we're using Zoom, we're not actually hearing people live ask their question. But this particular caller first wants to thank us for the program. So Keesan, people are thanking you for giving your time tonight to tell us all about it. And then the question is, what help can be provided to school children who have fallen behind during COVID pandemic? So.
Wow.
That's a big one, isn't it?
It is. You told me. But so I guess the easiest way would to call our HelpLink line.
Okay.
937-225-3000 or 211 from a mobile cell phone. So I was going to talk about this later, but we did launch our Strong Families Initiative, which is a 2-generation approach to help our ALICE population, asset limited, income constrained, but they're employed, basically working paycheck to paycheck. Where the children come in is we've always at United Way focused on education and financial stability and health. So with the education piece, We have the Dolly Parton Library that we partnered with in our counties to assist with reading and things of that nature. But it kind of sounds like this is referring to like a tutor or someone to help and provide assistance to those that may have fallen behind because of the pandemic. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure, but if you call our HelpLink line, they will be able to search our database to see if there's some resources that would assist with that.
That's good. That's good. Thank you very much for that. And just before we took the caller's question, we were talking about the people in the community that are searching your database. Do you have a way of knowing that it's a hospital or it's a caseworker from an agency? Do people have to sign in some way that identifies themselves so you know who's looking for what?
No, unfortunately, it would, if they did a search, it would just be the basic information. What's your zip code, your age, your gender, and what your need is. You could do a search where all the needs pop up. You could do the top 25, or you could be specific and say food pantries or rent payment assistance, things like that. But unfortunately, in that regard, we would have no way of knowing if it was an individual or if it was a social worker. When they call, they tell us, hey, I'm a social worker. I'm sitting here with this individual that needs help. Like like the example I gave you earlier, that's normally what we get. Yes. And we're also looking at social determinants of health. So I went to the, not the VA, I went to my primary care doctor a couple of weeks ago. And he just got my general information, but then towards the end of the form, he was like, does your home have food? Are you having trouble paying your rent and utilities? And I was like, that's strange. I've never had it on my end. I've had it on the other end where we've discussed it and trying to partner with our health partners and our social workers that are with those clients. So social determinants of health right now is real huge. And we can look at zip codes and tell the social determinants of health. And we can just kind of evaluate on where those people are, not just food and electric, but also their overall health. So I thought that was kind of exciting to see that they asked me those social determinants of health, not just, are you thinking about hurting yourself? Is someone beating you up at home? Not those general questions, but they really drilled down to, and like, I think all the hospitals do that. I have a VA appointment tomorrow, so I'm gonna see if they bring up the social determinants of health. I'm hoping they do, because I'll be really happy to see that, because that's important. Just because someone has a medical issue, well, they probably having issues in other areas of their life as well.
Exactly.
That's what we found.
It has been interesting to see that added to the questions in physicians' offices. It's moving its way, and there's a heightened awareness. And I don't know, I wouldn't be the one to answer how much COVID brought that to us, but it's heightened many, many things about how people are living and how they're making do. So let's turn to what's happening in this particular time of year. I mean, we are coming up, I think we've got 12 days, if I'm counting right, until Christmas. So we're moving in on it, and I would imagine that you're busy with calls relating to how people can access things for the holiday that they need to make the holiday the best that they can for their family. So I'll hand it to you to just tell us what you're hearing from the community.
Okay, no problem. So unfortunately, a lot of the timeline, the deadline for a lot of those, like Toys for Tots, a lot of holiday meals, that timeline has passed, unfortunately. But the good news is 211, we get a lot of information from the community. So I want to share, I was just made aware yesterday and today of 2 resources for food. There will be 300 bags of holiday meals that will be distributed to families on Saturday, December 18th at 10 a.m. at the following locations: Greater Allen African Methodist Episcopal Church at 1620 West 5th Street, 45402, and at St. Margaret's Episcopal Church, 5301 Free Pike, 45426, Trotwood, Ohio. That is on December 18th. And if you call our HelpLink 211 line, they have this information readily available because I just sent it to them.
Okay.
And we also have a free holiday meal, but it's to go. It's a meal to go. No worries. It's December 23rd, 2021, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Grace United Methodist Church, 1001 Harvard Boulevard, Dayton, Ohio, 45406. They said that they will have family meals that will serve 6 people. They want you to enter the parking lot on the corner of Salem and Dartmouth. To ensure health and safety of our partners and community, we ask that you remain in your car and open your trunk. For this one, though, you're going to need internet access because you have to pre-register and bring your confirmation. It's on Eventbrite. I have that address here, but it's kind of long. But they can register on Eventbrite for the Dayton Cooks holiday meal tickets.
Good. Well, it's good to know that those wonderful services are out there for people at this time of year who may just not have enough to stretch, at least for the holiday meal. Right. So that's just great. And then almost ongoing, we have had a lot of extra funding coming into our community that's being distributed by a number of agencies to help with emergency needs, most of it stemming from the pandemic, of course, and having extra funds made available. Why don't you tell the viewers what the state of all of that funding is, if you could, please?
Okay. So we partnered with Montgomery County back in April 2021 to conduct intake for their emergency rent assistance program. We call it ERAP for short. In order to apply, we're doing the intake. So they would have to call 211 or 937-225-3000 and press option 1. From there, we have a team that will input their information to determine eligibility. We at HelpLink 211 do not determine eligibility. We input the information that we receive, and then it goes on to Montgomery County. The first step is we have to identify whether the need is related to COVID. So when the government set aside these funds, it had a specific purpose. That specific purpose was to assist individuals directly or indirectly affected by COVID. So that means you caught COVID. That means you took care of a family member that had COVID. That means you lost your job because of downsizing or that you were let go, whatever the case may be relating to COVID. So I just want to reiterate, we do not determine eligibility. Now, in our other counties, we have a myriad of rental assistance providers from the city of Xenia, Miami Valley CAP, Interfaith Hospitality Network, and Clark County. And we encourage everyone to call us or get on our chat at dayton-unitedway.org so we can match them with the resource available. Now, as far as the ERAP program and getting rent assistance, there are 4 items that the callers should have ready: an ID, documentation of their income, a copy of the lease, and an eviction court date if they have one. Now, there are the basic income guidelines that go along with it. 1 person, $25,000, 2 people, $29,000, 3 people, $32,000, 4 people, $36,400, 5 people, $39,350. These incomes you have to be at that or below to qualify. The agencies that are working directly with Montgomery County to support this program are Catholic Social Services, Goodwill Easter Seals, Home Full, Salvation Army Croc Center, and the City of Kettering. So here's some numbers for you. As of December 8th, Montgomery County ERAP program received 7,000 applications. Out of those applications, 2,400 have been approved, 1,500 have been denied, and at least 400 or 500 are duplicates. We're seeing that agencies may not respond fast enough to the caller's liking, and they're resubmitting another application. That's causing to the backup that we're seeing. So there are a lot of applications that are pending and in the approval process right now. Money-wise, approximately $9.8 million has been dispersed in Montgomery County, with roughly 9.2 of direct rental assistance, with the average assistance being $3,747. Now, as we always like to look at, our most utilized zip codes, 45406. Diane, I know you already know some. 45417, 45405, 45426, 45402, 45424. We also have numbers by race: 67% Black, 19% white, other 14% unknown, and by gender, 74% of the applicants are female.
Okay, thank you for that good information. So when people contact 211 and they need rental assistance, United Way is going to complete the application and then send it back to the county or to one of the agencies you mentioned.
So it's automated. It's
okay.
automated. So it'll sit in a queue, and then those agencies, when we first started, it automatically went to an agency, and that created some issues, we'll say. So now the agencies will go in, and in our estimation, it lets them keep better track of the people that are assigned to them.
I see. So they can go in and get an application online and say, okay, we'll do this one next. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's good. I have a caller, another caller that wants to know, can people call, or do they have to go online for assistance? So you may need to kind of repeat that for us. And then something we haven't touched on yet, does anyone from your agency at HelpLink follow up to make sure the assistance worked?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the first question was?
It was,
whether they have to call or not.
Can they call, or do they have to go online?
So you can call, you can reach us 3 ways. You can call 211 from your mobile device, or 937-225-3000. You can get on our website, Dayton-UnitedWay.org, and you can search for help. Or while you're on that same page, you can click the little chat window and get assistance that way as well.
Okay.
So there's 3 ways that you can get assistance. Now, the second question was?
It was, does your staff follow up to see if the assistance worked?
Yes, so we conduct follow-ups. I would probably say maybe 70 to 80% of we conduct 70 to 80% of our calls. Our goal is 90%. We're not there yet, I'll be honest, but the goal is 90%. And the way we conduct follow-ups is usually within 2 weeks of the time we made first initial contact. And we have a few categories that determines whether it was successful or not. So one of them is client accepted agency plan. That means they call the agencies that we for the referrals that we provided to them. Then we have client refused agency plan. So that means they didn't, and their uncle or a loved one or someone like that, right, helped them out that time.
Okay.
They didn't need to go through the whole resource process. Then we have one of the huge ones is we couldn't reach them, no contact. So we couldn't reach them, we couldn't contact them. So we give them we conduct 2 attempts. We'll do 2 attempts to try to reach the caller. Sometimes their phone is disconnected. Sometimes they just aren't available. or they don't answer or recognize the number. So, but when we conduct a follow-up and the client accepted the plan, we find out what agencies help them. Sometimes they give us the amount, which is helpful because we provide success stories. We call them success stories.
Sure.
To our partners to let them know, hey, y'all aren't working in vain. People out here are actually appreciative and thanking you for being able to assist them. But that's usually how it works. Within 2 weeks, they will receive a follow-up to see whether or not, because sometimes they followed the agency plan and they didn't get help. So we share that information with our partners as well, saying, hey, this person didn't get assistance, were they missing paperwork, did they not do something right, et cetera, et cetera. So we do advocate on behalf of the callers with these agencies to see if we can help mitigate or help them get the help they're seeking.
Okay, that's very good to know. We're also moving once we get past the holiday season. Then in our world calendar, we enter the tax season. So it's right after the holidays and the first of the year, here comes taxes. So for some time now, HelpLink 211 has been instrumental in helping people to get connected with the tax assistance program. Why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about that in case they're looking forward to what am I going to do with taxes this year and where do I go?
All right, awesome. So you kind of hit on it. It's been for over 20 years we've been assisting the city of Dayton with tax preparation for our area residents. So the way it works is they will call us, HelpLink 211. In order to be eligible, they must have earned less than $57,414 in 2021. And they can receive free tax preparation. Now for HelpLink 211, our piece of it, we will be scheduling for 2 locations, the Job Center and the Trotwood Library. Okay. There are other locations that will also be providing services. Some of them are walk-in and some of them they have to call and set it up with. Most of them are libraries. But the 2 that we'll be covering is Job Center and Trotwood Branch. And if they want to prepare their taxes for free, they can visit myfreetaxes.com or call 1-866-698-9435. So we have a calendar for the Job Center location once we get the dates that they'll be doing their tax prep. And then we have a calendar for Trotwood. And we usually have 4 locations, but this year is 2. And then it's under COVID, so your taxes will be dropped off. You will go in with your mask on, drop off your taxes, provide the information that you're required to provide for your tax prep, your W-2s, your 1099s, Social Security, your Social Security cards. Usually they make a copy of those and give those back to you. And then they'll call you. Last year it was probably it took about a week to 2 weeks before they got calls because they started calling. I haven't got my taxes back yet. Those kind of things. Like, well, be patient. You did drop them off. You're not sitting across from them like we used to be. So that's how it's going to work this year, kind of like it was last year. So that's the way that they can get the help in preparing their taxes.
Well, good. And who, again, tell the viewers who it is that's providing this tax assistance?
It's the city of Dayton, and it's volunteers.
That's what I'm getting at.
Right.
These are volunteers. Yes.
Volunteers, a bunch of volunteers taking time out of away from their families and away from whatever else they would like to be doing and putting in the time to help the community. So we definitely need to take our hats off to them because no one's making them do it. They're volunteering to do it on their own. So just be patient when you drop your taxes off there and let them do the work so you can get a return back.
Well, because this program has proved so valuable, not only to individuals and families, but to the community as an aggregate. It's and I think that we probably still suspect that many are eligible that have not found their way to it yet, even though it's been going on for some time. So I hope people listening tonight, if they are in that income bracket of under 57,000, they can come and take advantage of this and get in on time. So why don't you tell us now a little bit about HelpLink and what that can do for callers.
All right. So HelpLink is kind of like mirrors our 211. So the mission of HelpLink 211 is to provide a 24-hour lifeline to free, confidential, and compassionate professionals who will review your current situation and connect you with resources. HelpLink 211, we support 1.6 million residents and over 120,000 veterans in our 9-county area that I mentioned earlier. So we took that platform and applied it to our veteran community. What we noticed was that while veterans are eligible, and that's me, including myself, right? We're eligible for many local, state, and federal services. Finding help from all the different agencies and the different programs can be a challenging process with many barriers, especially for our stressed, aging, or disabled veterans. So HelpLink is here to fill that gap where we connect them with not only our veterans organizations, like Montgomery County Veteran Services as an example, but we also connect them with your Miami Valley CAPS, your Catholic Social Services, so they get a two-pronged approach to help assist them with their needs.
I see. Okay. So are you looking for more vets to come and use the HelpLink services, or do you feel like the word's out and you're really getting to the vets?
No, I don't think our reach and our spread is as far as we would like it to be. So you know, it's not just the vets, it's their families as well. Their families can call on their behalf, especially if they're older, and
right.
They can call on their behalf, and we will provide those resources to them to help that loved one get the need and the help that they deserve.
Okay. All right. Well, yes, that's good. We want to be supportive of our veterans and not let them be without a resource that is available. I would also like to talk a little bit about, of course, our seniors in our community, because we do have quite a lot of seniors in the whole state of Ohio and also Montgomery County. And seniors can also be vets, and seniors can also be, you know, they can wear many hats. But tell us what kind of services and what extent do you find that seniors are using 211?
Seniors, they're using it. As far as age groups, probably 65 and up, they're probably second. I mean, they're in the fight. You know, they're calling, requesting assistance, and we have, you know, area agency on aging in our database that we connect them to, Adamis, you know, Alzheimer's Association, you know, our local hospitals and healthcare providers as well. So at one time we did have a program called SilverLink. It's kind of went away now, but we still have those resources in our database for the senior population. So they do call us a lot, and we do have some things that can cover down for them as well.
Okay. A caller has given us a question about veterans in the chat. It says, can the HelpLink program provide help for veterans like the one calling? He says, he or she says, like me, suffering from PTSD. So that would be a more specific resource in your database, but could you address that for this caller?
Absolutely. So in that situation, we would work with our community partners such as the VA and also the Kettering Vet Center, where they specialize in helping those that are suffering with PTSD, military sexual trauma, things of that nature. But the VA and the Kettering Vet Center would be the main two if they're in Montgomery. Well, they cover more than just Montgomery County, so they would be okay.
Okay. Yes, they do cover a larger area.
Mhm.
Good. Is there, I'd also like to ask, along with income taxes and getting help in that regard, um, what is afoot or what's in the works or in planning to help with property taxes, which, of course, just like income, come around every year?
Right. Yes, they do. So uh, the Montgomery County Treasurer's Office is currently in our database, and they have a prepaid real estate payment plan. It provides payment options to persons owning property in Montgomery County. The semi-annual property tax bill can be paid one of three ways. It can be paid monthly via EFT, electronic funds transfer, or semi-annually via electronic funds transfer. For those that are delinquent, they also offer a monthly payment plan to property owners in Montgomery County who are delinquent in paying. And then last but not least, you have the homestead exemption program that allows those seniors that are permanently and totally disabled and meet the annual income requirements to reduce their property tax burden.
Okay, so
So
there's
we have
quite.
them in our database, and we can pass that information on to anyone who calls HelpLink 211.
All right. Well, that's very good to know, because there's a number of resources there for that then, which is good. Does I know that United Way, of course, uses lots and lots of volunteers. Does HelpLink 211 use volunteers? And if so, what role do they play?
That is a great question. That's what I'm trying to figure out now, being in this new position right,
Okay.
in September. So I know at one time, under our under Sandy Williams, who was HelpLink for forever, 40 plus years, and then under Rosalie Bonacci Roberts, I know they had volunteers. So I'm working with my team to see if we still have that advisory committee for HelpLink 211, because I really don't know the status of it. So I would have to find out and reach out to them to get that information, because this came up maybe 2 weeks ago from one of the members of our leadership team at United Way of Greater Dayton asking me, and I was like, I don't know.
Well, you've only been there since September, so so you can't do everything at once.
Right.
Are there other programs or needs that, if you had the magic wand and you could make them happen, that you would say would be of use to the 211 program, to be more helpful in our community?
Oh, absolutely. We could use some providers that assist with gas for their vehicles, right?
Okay.
We currently do not have a provider in our database that helps people other than, well, let me rephrase, other than if they're a veteran, but I'm saying that they would give them like a gas card to put gas in their vehicle. There's no civilian agency that we have. So we get a lot of calls, not a whole bunch, but we do get calls for assistance with transportation to fill up their cars. We also get people requesting assistance with their auto payments. Again, the VA, the Veteran Services Commissions in those 9 counties will assist with that, but there are some parameters you have to meet, like the car can't be over 10 years old or a certain amount of years old, things like that. But on the civilian side, there aren't any resources. And then the last one I would say is moving. We have people moving to our area. We have people leaving our area, and they're being told, contact us. Well, we don't really have the ability to help you leave Ohio, right? We want you to stay. And then we have people that come and move to Ohio, but they have to meet the residency requirements. So we don't have any movers in our database. So if there's any moving companies out there that want to help out and help the community, that would be great. If there's some speedways or BPs or Shells that want to give away some gift cards to get in the hands of other people, that would be great as well.
Okay, so those are some unmet needs that you have run into. Does your this may seem unusual to you, but it's come a lot to the Ombudsman office. Do you have people calling to ask for assistance for trimming of trees?
We've had, well, we had that during the tornadoes, right? So
Yeah, you sure did.
we had that. Oh boy. But here recently, not that many, but we have had a few. We have had some. We've had some requests for assistance with like a home pool.
Yeah.
Like for someone that has Alzheimer's or something that needs that pool. And we had one individual that had went to a Y or something and got sick from being in the swimming pool. And now he's been in a fight. His wife is trying to help him to get a pool in his home, but the agency said they would help, but then they backed out. So yeah, definitely those are the kind of things that are going on.
Those are very specific and sometimes highly unusual requests,
Yeah.
are some of the hardest to find donors for, or to find, to find others. Are there particular donors to 211 that you would like, or that it would be appropriate to acknowledge now, or do they?
So the RD team handles the donors.
Yes.
And if I start going down that list and then forget somebody, this agency gave 50,000, but I highlighted the one that gave 20,000. But we're well supported in the community. We love our community partners and our community support. But I don't want to go down the roster because I don't know all of them, number one, and then I don't want to be guilty of omitting someone that is.
I understand. The question was not, it was not meant to to cause any trouble with that, right. And that's wise of you not to do that. So, well, we are we're coming up to the end of our time here, and yet I feel like that I probably haven't asked you everything that I needed to ask you, about 211. I guess I should ask now, are you all hiring at this point?
We do have one position. It's kind of like a flex position where they would work every other Friday or every other Saturday, something like that. And it would be depends on the person. It probably has to be someone that's retired or volunteering or something, because it's not going to be enough to live off of. You'll be a part of the Alice population, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
But we do have that position, but we usually use Indeed when we have vacancies, and at United Way of Greater Dayton.
Yep. So that's where many people post on that. I just wanted to ask, because so many places are now hiring and having trouble at this point in time finding individuals that are qualified for the positions that they have. So I'd like to give you at this time I'd like to give you an opportunity to help conclude our program here by telling the viewers anything I haven't asked you but I should have asked you, or anything that you really want them to take away.
Okay. Well, thank you. So I kind of mentioned it earlier about our Strong Families Initiative. The Strong Families Initiative, we use a 2-gen approach to improve economic stability. And we have on our website, Dayton-UnitedWay.org, if you go to Get Help Now, you will see Prosperity. Prosperity is a platform that our callers can sign up for to get discounts on products and services in the community. So the way it works, like let's say you need to get an oil change, just as an example, let's say.
Yeah. Then
you would be able to get on this platform and get it at a discounted rate because you're a member of the Alice community. Let's say you don't get to take vacations very often, but you want to take your family to, let's say, Scene 75 or Dave and Buster's or something. I'm just using these as generalities. That's not on the platform. Let me be clear. That's not on the platform. But the goal of the platform, that is the kind of people that we're trying to reach, to equip them. And then also, we awarded racial equity mini grants to help empower our citizens in our community to help address the issues of racial inequality. And then on our website, Dayton-UnitedWay.org, we have a data dashboard. It's been out a little while now, and it shows our current and emerging trends reported to 211 to us by zip code, by county, by congressional, state house, state senate, school district, and region. And what this we've been wanting this for so long, but what this does is it allows anybody in the community. We want to reach our politicians. We want to reach our agencies to see so that they can have visibility of what those needs are in the community and what those needs are in their area, in their backyard. So we have it for our state representation, and we have it for local, then we have it by county, we have it by zip code, and we have it by school district. So it's called a data dashboard. Right when you go to our webpage, data dashboard, you can click on that, and it defaults to 365 days, and you can see all the needs in our community at a minimum level. It's just the minimum amount of needs that are in our community.
Okay, well, that's definitely something worth taking a look at. You mentioned when you were describing the Strong Families program, the Alice families. Why don't you say a little bit more for those who may not be familiar for what Alice means?
Okay, so what Alice means is asset limited, income constrained, employed. So these are people that make too much to get assistance, but not enough to be profitable in their family, meaning they can't meet all of their needs of their family. There's some shortfalls there. So what we wanted to do with Prosperity is kind of build a gap, bridge a gap so that we could provide that at a lesser cost to try to help them on their journey to financial stability.
Well, on that note, I'd like to say very good luck with that, with helping the Alice families. Helping those families helps our entire community. So that's a wonderful thing. So thank you, Keesan, for coming on the program this evening and giving us all of this really good information. And I wish you all the best as you move into this. You've been there since September, but it's still relatively new. So much success in that, and for all of those whom you and your staff are helping. So thank you very much for participating in the program this evening.
Oh, thank you for allowing me to share with your audience today, and thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. Thank you to the viewers, and thank you to the callers who gave us your most interesting questions. And we will be back next month with the Ombudsman program. And so we wish everyone season's greetings at this time of the year. And thank you for watching this evening. Bye-bye.